Hi there.
Great night last night, and an amazing goal by Kudus. It's been held as one of the great recent West Ham goals. I mean, you've had some hours to reflect on it. I mean, how good was it, do you think?
Look, it was a brilliant goal, and what a great performance from Mo. It's been coming. He's just beginning to find his form a little bit after the African nations, really. And it was a great goal, but look, I think Thomas Suchet scored a great goal the week before as well, and Emerson scored a great goal as well from a shot outside the box against, I think it was Brentford. Yeah, so yeah, we've had a few really good goals recently.
It's really unusual to see a player though running with the ball from his own half, and he's fasting too. It's round down, which makes it even more incredible.
Yeah, well, look, I said at the time, I says, it was a little bit of an old-fashioned winger's run and snaky hips and, trying to beat people as they come up to you. And it was a brilliant run and a brilliant goal. And people of a different generation will remember it when wingers used to be like that. And it was a bit Ryan Giggs-like in some ways, the way that Ryan Giggs would run and take people on. But look, the thing about the fasting, I think sometimes it's really important that they've got a focus. They're really concentrated. They understand that it's quite a difficult time when you're not eating during the day, etc., etc. But overall, I think sometimes it might just give the people a bit of focus, the people who've got some faith and they believe in it. So good on them.
Do you like goal celebrations too? Because this was quite unique as well. He grabbed the stool, sat down, and other players then cleaned his boots, which was quite something to see as well.
I think I like that better than Mickey Antonio's when he's doing the ones from the movies. A bit more conventional, but hey, it seems that everything goes now in the celebration. But long may they continue.
So David, a third straight European quarter-final. The draw is this lunchtime. Liverpool, AC Milan, Roma, Bayer Leverkusen, Benfica, Marseille, Atalanta. Some really big hitters.
Yeah.
Who do you want to avoid?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we're in around a sort of teams who have been fantastic or are fantastic at the moment and have a great history in Europe. So look, we'll enjoy it. I remember when we first got in it 3 years ago, it felt like we were saying, "Oh, good, we're going to enjoy this journey in Europe and we're going to enjoy the games." Well, we certainly have, and we've probably done better than that. We've done more than just make it a journey. I think we've made it something which we're really challenging. I don't think teams will necessarily want to play us either. Our record in Europe's been pretty good. 3 quarter-finals in 3 years, but I said last night as well, it's actually been a semi-final, a final, and we're in a quarter-final at the moment, so let's hope we can keep moving it on.
I don't know if you studied the UEFA coefficient rankings, but because you beat Freiburg, a German team last night, the chances of a 5th place Premier League finish, meaning Champions League football, is increased. There are now 5 English teams left in Europe, only 3 from Germany, so a 5th place finish could ensure Champions League football for a Premier League 5th place finisher.
Yeah. I'm pleased that the country could get another Champions League opportunity because obviously there's, it's a great competition. It has been for many years, the Champions League. I think it brings in a lot more finances to some clubs. I don't know if it would be great that we're the ones who are helping somebody else if it's not us being 5th. So I'm not absolutely convinced with the coefficient situation, to be honest. But overall, look, we can only do what we do and look after ourselves.
Yeah, you're 10 points off 5th place. Is it realistic, do you think?
It's probably not realistic if we're being honest, but we have to keep believing that there's an outside chance we can do it. If we can, it's like you pick up a couple of wins in this league and it gives you momentum, gets you closer. So we have to attempt to do it. And but I've got to say the level of the competition in front of us is really stiff.
Yeah. The team used for Sunday, Cornet and Emerson, are they going to be okay?
I'm not sure. Corney certainly won't be. He's only just back and not on the grass yet, really. Emerson it'll be a late call to see how he is. He's not got a serious injury, but just a little bit of a groin strain, so we'll need to see how he is. We're not sure yet.
How do you see this game with Villa? You took a big beating there, didn't you, earlier in the season? I mean, they're 12 points ahead of you. How do you see this matchup this Sunday?
Well, that tells you how good a side they are. They're a very good side, Aston Villa. They have been. The manager's doing a brilliant job there. He's got them in the quarter-final of a Conference League as well, which is a great achievement as well. And they're knocking on the door of Champions League football. So they've done a great job, and it'll be a really tough game against Villa.
Calvin Phillips came on briefly last night. Obviously, Gareth Southgate didn't include him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Calvin Phillips is feeling about the England situation right now, and West Ham too?
Well, I can't speak about Calvin Phillips and how he feels about the England situation. All I can say is I've said plenty about Calvin Phillips, and he's working hard and he's doing fine, and we'll keep bringing him on.
Do you think there is a chance for him though with England somewhere down the line again?
Well, we hope so. We hope that he's going to work really hard, and and he is working very hard. And if he plays well, then he'll get selected. I've got no doubt about that.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Hi. Kudus has mentioned he has a great relationship with you. He's expressed gratitude for his learning opportunities from the wider coaching staff. How easy is it to manage and still implement structure so he can improve to such a clear raw talent like himself?
Look, he's a great boy to work with. He's quite a quiet boy, but he's a really good boy. We like him a lot. I think he's actually blossomed as well. I think he's coming on so much. The thing about him, we can play him in so many different positions, and that's given us a little bit of flexibility. I think he has his own preference where he would really like to play, but last night he scored his goals off the left at the time, but he's mainly scored them off the right. We know he'll be able to play as a number 10 and going forward as well, and he has played as a 9. So I think the flexibility what he has gives us great opportunities. But we've been hugely impressed by his attitude and the way he's taken to the Premier League. And he's been a little bit of a slow period coming back from the African nations, I think. But I think he's just beginning to get back on it now.
You've given around 21 academy players debuts at West Ham, and George Earthy, who was a part of the under-18s Youth Cup squad that won last season, came on, got his debut. How special does it feel as a manager to see these boys rise through the ranks and have these moments, especially at home? It was such a fantastic atmosphere last night.
Well, one of the really important things about being in the competition like in Europe, we have been able to give some young players an opportunity. It's probably a bit easier to do that than it is in the Premier League, unfortunately. But I take great pride in the players who I've given their debuts to. I think I've probably given 5 16-year-olds their debut possibly in the Premier League over my time. Every time you give a young boy an opportunity, it's a huge thrill. But the Premier League's become so tough, the level of the competition. They were talking about 5 teams could maybe be in the Champions League. They're the teams who are in Europe. We've got teams in the Champions League, we've got teams in the Europa League and the Conference League. So to get young players into that level of football where you think that you can trust them and they can meet the standards required is not easy nowadays. Really tough. But I was thrilled for George. George has been doing really well. He's a really talented footballer. He's got a great attitude, and if he keeps working at it, I'm sure there'll be a good future ahead of him.
And we've already spoken about the past 3 seasons being in Europe, but I remember we spoke about setting consistent standards at the club and building on that each season. Is this the bare minimum standard for West Ham, do you think, every season to go far?
Is it the bare minimum? It's a good question. I think when we come back, and I only say it because it was fact, it was relegation we were here to stop happening. So to say now bare minimum, I think it's quite difficult to say that. But I think because we've been there now, we're really enjoying it. We've got a taste of it. I think we're bringing in players who are international players from some of the top countries. So they want to be in Europe. They want to be seen at that level. They want to be considered those type of players. So if we want to keep bringing in Kudoses and Paquetas, etc., and we want Jared Bowens, England internationals, we need to be in Europe and we need to be knocking at the door.